You're listening to the Starfall Actual Play Podcast. Starfall Actual Play Podcast is a combination of short stories, audio dramas, and actual role-playing that tell a much larger story. If you've been wondering where the hell have I been, it's because I have been trying really hard to find a file that's been missing. It's a really important file because it's the episode where a member of the Fifth Crew dies. Yeah. Hey, no comments from you. It's not funny. No! So, I've used all of my computer knowledge. This is MacFoo, this is Linux, this is Unix. I've written special batch scripts. I've written automator scripts to try and find this file. Nothing. I even repaired a phone that we had originally recorded the episode on, and nothing. Can't find it. Yeah. It's not funny. Turbo, stop it. Okay. In other news, I have a new website, which is www.actualplaypodcast.com. So if you like podcasts like this one, or if you have a podcast like this one, go and check it out. It's going to be a directory for new podcasts, or old podcasts, but RPG podcasts, board game podcasts, how to be a game master podcast. It's a free directory, so it's free to subscribe. It's free to submit your podcasts. So check it out. It's going to be really, really cool. And I need to mention our Patreon. So check out our webpage. Go to starfallrpg.jackmonkeygames.com. Check out our Patreon page and consider becoming a backer.
Hi, y'all. You're listening to the Starfall Real Play Podcast. Now, there best not be any cubs about because this is not for little furry ears. If they're in the room, well, that just makes you a bad parent. Mama might have to come get you. Bye now.
Hey, Norkek.
Yes, Hedda?
So this guy was harassing Karen, saying that she was not a real gamer girl.
Oh, you are very lucky. That is very rare.
What's rare?
Sadly, you are witnessing the extinction of a species, the solitary geek.
What?
The solitary geek is a subspecies of humans that are slowly dying out. They used to be very plentiful, but turns out natural selection has other plans. Their natural habitats would often involve keyboards, comic book shops, or game stores.
Ooh.
Many are very territorial and get upset if they discover someone else encroaching on their territory.
Okay, I can see that.
The most baffling problem with the species is the males, when confronted with an attractive female, deny her existence, claiming that she is not, in fact, a gamer girl, when, in fact, she is. This forces her to seek mates with more favorable genetics, like the recessive social skills.
So the solitary geek is dying out because they don't believe there are females like them?
Mostly, though, some are just arrogant, and not happy that a female has just beat their record in Confederate Commando 4.
That reminds me, have you been able to win versus Karen yet?
That is a sore subject, my friend. But back on topic. There has been breeding programs in place called LARP, SCA, and GameCons. However, the females have developed some kind of resistance.
Ooh?
I'm told it's an allergy to the male's shit called feminism.
So, a large vehicle is coming. It's a six-wheeled craft. Like everything on Warmed, it looks like it's been thrown together. There is no glass. It looks like it has like aluminum siding nailed to the front of it.
6 wheels from 6 different vehicles.
Yeah, pretty much.
Square.
And it looks like it has. So yeah, it's a. It does have. So it has a series of chains that hang out in front all over it. you know what, David, you know what this does? Basically, in the case of a whole bunch of people climbing onto it, it starts to, this thing on the top spins, and basically this thing is massive flail as these chains just basically tear anybody who climbs on top of it without permission apart.
It's less noisy than having claymores strapped to the outside, I suppose.
Yes.
I forgot what we were describing.
Like chains draped over the front of the car.
Six-wheeled vehicle ultimate,
From the
six-wheeled
top.
vehicle that's come up.
Everyone say hi to Zane and wish he was here because he's the medic.
Yeah.
And it also has very, very distinctive ThunderClan insignias on it. So, to the gate, they signal that they want to enter. The Wolf Clan lets them in. They pull up, and out comes 2 guards. And these guys have no neck.
Huh?
They're huge.
It's what I call a schnick.
Oh, neck troll. They're huge. One of which is actually bare-chested. He is scarred to hell. Also, his nanite tattoo goes down half his body.
How cold did you say it was?
Chilly.
Yeah. Not saying
Not
he's
quite Kelvin.
yeah. He's not all that. You can tell that this guy's not all that smart. But the fact that he's coming out with a big old axe, it's kind of a threat of I don't care about. If I'm not afraid of the cold, I'm not afraid of you, kind of thing. And out from there comes a woman who has a large puffy jacket that doesn't have any patches. So it's a fairly recent jacket.
Acquisition.
She steps down and immediately comes over and gives Dave a huge hug.
Like father, like father.
No, not
Terry
like
came
that.
from somewhere.
Not like that. No, she carries the insignia of the sidearm, which is like the second in command of a clan. She looks over and says, "How are you, brother?"
Been worse.
She says, "We haven't."
So I've heard. What's the plan?
Well, we think we found something, and it might tip the scales. We're talking with the nomads about helping us excavate something.
It's not the tunnel leading us down to the moles, is it?
No. This is something much older than that.
Hmm.
We think it actually might be some ore that was left over.
How deep are they?
If the ore is left over, then it would put this planet on the map.
What sort of time frame are we looking at?
Well, we're trying to dig down. Problem is that the molten core that keeps the caverns warm is also keeping the lake bed from completely freezing over. So every time that we try to dig down deep enough, the ice just melts and our equipment sinks to the bottom, adding to the pile. Going from underneath might end up filling up the cavern. She says, and let's not talk about the rest here.
Hmm.
And she says,
Even undisturbed, it sounds like a bit of a pain in the ass.
and she says, and what are we doing with these no faces?
Can we overhear this?
Yeah,
They're my no faces. I
Yours.
trust them to a point.
You want to get off?
enough to brand them
To a point.
to a point. Where's that no-face nephew of mine?
He's having a bit of a crisis at the moment.
Oh, boo-hoo.
I was actually hoping to bring him here, but slightly too much technology for him to be sane.
What happened with your genes? You obviously got the worst end, and apparently it's hereditary.
Sometimes you can just go too far in a positive direction.
She says, okay, all of you, climb on in. Scrapper, don't kill him. Yet. And the bare-chested guy goes,
Can we be branded? Then Terry can't have one.
Where are we?
You've come back.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure that you've come back by now.
I just reckon.
There's no reason to explore much.
So we're just standing around watching this exchange.
Mhm.
And then, bye, Dave.
Okay.
I'm going to
I
address
don't-
everyone else and say,
Scrapping the head.
As you.
do you think you should be branded?
Where's this one?
I start laughing so hard
So you already.
I'm in the mech.
My people used to be branded. No chance in hell.
I start laughing so hard, I almost shake Hrol off my back.
Stop still piggybacking you around.
When they say branding, I mean.
Whacking you with a long
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, basically giving you a temporary brand until the nanites come in.
I see.
Could we
What's the
fake a
advantage of
brand?
that?
Well, this is
With
faking it.
previously mentioned items?
This is faking a brand. It is.
Yeah.
I have a brand. I spray painted ThunderClan on my mech chest. You should be happy
Yeah,
with
you
that.
do. What's the advantage? Like protection of the ThunderClan?
Yeah.
Pretty much. Which
Also, ThunderClan won't kill you for looking at them cross-eyed because they can't trust you.
So what's the
Yeah.
downside? Why aren't you?
What's the downside?
Felinus.
My people were branded one time when people used to shave their fur off, so I have no intention of putting a brand on.
Stop being such a pussy.
Look, y'all need to not be starting cat fights right
when fur flies.
now.
So the branding's just temporary. We
No.
don't.
No, it's a permanent. Like they burn brand you.
No, it's bad. It's bad for business.
Yeah.
It's
How about I wear
relatively
like
temporary.
a sash or something?
That's not how it rolls.
Well,
Then I
the
have caps.
now while you're in the controlled territory of ThunderClan, you don't have to worry about the other clans because anyone shows up unannounced, everyone's gonna fight them off anyways. It's just you have to be extra careful not to offend anyone because while
you
you're
have
there,
to
you're
walk
using
on
up
eggshells.
yeah, because you're using up their resources. So think of this: on every other planet, David's the asshole that stands out that pisses off everyone, like episode 6 and 7 and 8. Here, it's reversed. He actually has great social skills here.
Would me having a brand be good for my business when I finally get it back?
It's
So
only
people aren't
good.
going to mess with me.
Or
Well, the
talk
thing
with
is-
you.
The brands are only good on Warmed.
Okay.
Occasional, you might encounter another Warmedian, and they would react to you appropriately. The other thing is that since brands don't change, they don't show real loyalty. You can get a ThunderClan brand, and that means it's kind of like your hall pass, but that doesn't mean you're still loyal to the
Good
clan.
souvenir though.
Oh yeah.
I'm down for it.
No.
Yeah,
I'm
but you said
already
it
an
takes-
outcast.
You said it takes like a month or two to change loyalties. And,
2 years.
Well, no,
or two
that's
years.
that's
2
the
years
tattoos.
How you
your
get it.
initial one.
Yeah.
That's the tattoo. The brand is something different. That never
Oh, right.
changes.
The tattoos is the nanite technology. The brand is just literally. It's literally a brand.
Yeah.
It's
No,
burned into your flesh.
because I deal with too much trade with people in the church. I don't think it would be a good idea.
Yeah,
hate the
yeah,
church.
Yeah,
you
no.
not. We all hate the church, but for them, for
I'm
her,
ex-
it's profitable.
I'm sort of ex-church area, so I'm not big on their shenanigans.
So no.
Okay.
Would it be
Long version
confusing
of
to
life.
see a Gadar with a brand?
Blowing up church
Yes.
troops. Yeah.
Now, just to let you know that most of the people that you see around here are human. You do see an occasional felinus. They're staring at Atrium
Yeah, big time because of the
because Godard, okay, unlike the Glippin and the Octopods and the Elome, which are all cold-blooded and avoid the planet like the plague because it's cold, you avoid it because the conversation on the entire planet scrubbing sucks. You can't relate to almost anyone here. It's kind of like a historian hanging out with a bunch of bogans. It just...
So no different from my whole experience since episode 1.
Pretty much not much has changed.
Yeah, that's alright. I don't talk much anyway.
It's probably for the best of us up on the bridge, to be fair. Way too intellectual for the likes of us.
Okay, so you guys are are driving. Occasionally, you'll hear a bullet ricochet off the.
I'm running alongside.
Some cracks and plinks.
Query
I don't
bullet.
expect that I fit in the vehicle.
Oh no, you fit. It's like an APC.
It's
My
a
entire mech fits
Yes,
in the
big
vehicle.
APC.
Yeah, you're only 7 feet tall.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
that's
so it's a power armor, not a.
No, that's fine.
Probably wouldn't want to
Alright.
be sitting next to you, but you'd probably fit.
Alright, so I'm like crouched on the back.
Yeah.
Facing back. Got it.
Yeah, occasional. Like someone is taking an occasional pot shot.
Can I just fire back for the fun of it?
If you want to waste the ammo.
Do I care?
Ammo's cheap here.
Yeah. If somebody
Someone's
takes
got a
a
rechargeable weapon.
if somebody takes a pot shot at
Someone's
us,
filled up
I'm
on
just
it,
gonna
so it's
shoot
not
back
happening.
at the person taking a pot shot at for the pure principle of the thing.
You're
Okay.
very restless today. I like it.
Okay, so they start.
Not much looking to
They
scrub.
start heading towards the. They go down a couple streets. The entire. You get to see the. Poverty is not, or destitute is not the word here. We're talking people here are trying to survive. There are people huddling around tires that are on fire just because it's the only form of warmth. There are people that this plant has ritual cannibalism for their alcohol, if that kind of gives you an idea. So
Keeps the population down. It's good.
yeah,
Well,
there
it's just that you don't waste anything, even though
you don't waste anything. There are you've seen at least 2 people die just on. You do know that some people are born Warmedians. Some people end up that way. It's not uncommon for pirates to take the entire crew and strand them on the planet. Sometimes they sell them to a clan that is in decline. Sometimes they will take them and sell them for the gladiatorial games. Though you cannot purchase slaves, it happens. And most of it is just pure survival. It has nothing to do with someone is greater than another. It is, I currently need this many people to help keep the mine alive. I'll get them any way I can. Warmedians, it's as I said, it's all about survival and the worst parts of it.
So we're traveling above ground at the moment,
Mm-hmm.
and there is other signs of people living above ground when it's frequently below minus 20-ish.
Yeah.
Instead of living in the mines.
Yes. And that could be that they've been kicked out.
Okay, right.
That could be that they're unassociated with one of the clans.
Yep.
It could be that they're because there's many clans. Some of them have been completely kicked out of their mines.
The areas that they control.
So it's not impossible to live on the surface,
Just
but it's
inhospitable.
really
Not optimal.
hard.
Yeah.
Rumors is that the Moon Clan mostly lives on the surface, and they're the scavengers. Well, every clan has scavengers, but they have the best. Okay, they drive up to the Thunder Clan main doors. There you see several men and women come out and open up these massive doors. They actually have to physically pull them open. There's not a mechanical process of it. And from what you can tell is that this door has been reinforced hundreds of times. It has been slapped together. It's got spikes on the outside. You can see that a couple positions on this door are like gun positions that can only be accessed from the outside. It's basically designed to take on a head-on assault by an army.
Is this an open complex or is this built into a hill or something? Or?
It's built into a hill. And from what you can tell is the hill is mostly made of ice. And then from there, as you start going a little bit further, it starts going down. There's this massive, as you can imagine, underground mine. It's like a 4-lane highway.
Yeah.
And as you're driving down, you start seeing signs on the walls, and they look corporate. You can't read the writing, but you can kind of imagine that they're like safety signs and corporate logos and other things like that.
Wear your hard
100
hat.
days without an injury.
Yeah.
0 days without an incident.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
They don't even bother with the fucking
Some of the
line.
things that you notice is that
Safety is everyone's responsibility.
If you
A
see something,
safe workplace
report
is a
something.
happy workplace.
or the one that was on the back of my shirt was let safety become a reality, don't become a fatality. At that point I realized I was not being paid enough. So Atrium,
Yes.
you notice something on one of the walls immediately.
Mm-hmm.
That there's some writing that's in Gadar, which you can still read. The Gadar language hasn't changed, and it's that sort of safety thing, that sort of comments. You do notice that there is a fractal. Yeah, well, it's an active fractal. It may still work.
It's not tucked into a corner or meant to be discreet.
It's just on the wall.
Really broad and blazing. Is it? It's on the wall down over the highway.
Yeah.
Is it near or adjacent to like a guard's hut or anything like that?
Mm.
Oh, all right.
It's
I
just-
memorize it.
Okay.
Yeah. Can I? Yeah, I just memorize it for now and its location.
Okay.
Mark it on my little cave map.
Okay. The other thing that you notice is a large one in there's a large logo and it has like various there's a Gadar, there's an octopod, there's a human, and then there's a creature or a being that you haven't ever seen before, and it towers over the Elome, or what you would expect a Elome to be. It kind of looks like Elome, but its features are not. It's reptilian, but the eyes aren't independently focusing, and it only has 2 large horns, and it would make Jerry seem tiny. And it has its arms crossed, and it looks like it's in some sort of management position. And the slogan underneath it in Gadar is "We're all working here together." But that's a species you've never seen before, and it's obviously sentient.
That's concerning since I know a lot, and I should know all the species that exist.
Well, you do know that some of the species did not survive the fall, like the Mechlon. The Mechlon did not survive. They're the ones that could do rapid building.
But that was because they had some kind of dependence.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, if it's reptilian.
Yeah. Yeah, and the Mechlon, from what you're told, were tiny and needed life support.
What's our history of genetic fragmentation or breeding? Is it possible it's not a natural species?
Possible, yes.
Wait, so does that mean it's like really, really old or it's new?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
Well, being the fact that it's in
in a mine.
It's in a mine.
Pyramid, it's probably old.
It's really old. It's at least 800 years old. So, as you go further, you notice that the lights are powered by either torches. The atmosphere, you can see that there's been lots of carving to make sure that all the airflow, basically the whole place is like one massive chimney. And it's designed to make sure that all the airflow goes out, so this way the breathing and the fires that are kept here don't kill everyone. You're not sure where the fresh air is coming from, but there seems to be an abundance of it. There could even be some life support scrubbers or that sort of thing running.
You said there was a lake, right?
Yes.
Turn that into atmosphere. It's inside the mines, right? I didn't mishear you.
Oh, the lakes?
Yeah, there's
No,
a
the
body
lake's
of water.
on. The lake is the mines go underneath the lake,
Alright.
but because it's frozen over, it could be like someone's living room and they wouldn't notice it.
Okay, right.
So you guys drive for about another 10 minutes, and they come up to what is called a great hall. And a great hall is pretty much the lifeblood of Warmedian society. The main kind of like throne room for their chieftain. You've got their bazaar, their local swapping post, their bars and their brothels, that sort of thing. If you want to do something, most likely you're going to do it in this room. And when I say this room, it's massive. Wherever this was, they must have had a major concentration of ore, or this was a place where was like a staging area for the ore.
Like
I would say.
size?
Was that?
Like hangar size?
Stadium size. Your sister says, it's time for home. But first, we have to toast to your return. You're not coming back to challenge me for sidearm, are you? I hate to kill you.
Doesn't she not have?
Oh, she has facial tattoos.
Ah, I thought you said she didn't have something.
No.
False.
She doesn't have balls. Okay, but I use really
That
old.
you know of. She might have a pair in
There's
her
a
pocket
collection
from
of
the
them.
last guy she had to
Probably.
Just little jars on her mantle.
kill.
No, I'm not here for the
None of them are
sidearm
fuzzy
position.
though, so watch your step.
Now-
Collection.
By the way, folks, positions in the clan are often achieved by single combat. Sometimes they're chosen because you're able to manage resources. So, like Chieftain, if you suck at managing resources, someone will challenge you. But if you're doing a pretty good job, most likely they'll go, if someone is ambitious, they'll go for sidearm first. It's not exactly a good position to be in, not well sought after.
Yeah.
'Cause you're-
Especially if you don't want to hang around, I suppose.
Yeah.
Especially if you're retired. Effectively retired.
So she walks over to the bar, and as she goes to sit down, like a couple brutes, and brutes as in the title of brute. Brutes are like their special forces kind of soldiers. Actually part ways for her. She says, 2 bottles of champion, let's drink.
I get off the back of the thing that brought us there.
Mm-hmm.
I find a likely spot to stand my mech in its full,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I go over there, I stand there, and then I get out
Okay.
of the mech.
Mm-hmm.
And I leave it alarmed.
Okay. Yeah, it goes into sentry mode.
Mhm.
Not like what his does, which will fight on his behalf.
Yep.
But yours won't allow anyone to touch it.
Yeah. His isn't with us though.
No, it doesn't do well in cold.
It didn't fit in the APC.
Because she said let's drink, so
Oh,
I was there.
Mom was there. Okay,
Is there a fireplace somewhere in this bar?
there's a fireplace freaking everywhere.
Sweet. I'm gonna go up to the nearest where everyone hangs around and just sit down in front of it.
Curl up in front of the burning tires.
Yep.
We don't allow
Are you-
fire on the
are you
planet.
looking at
It
fur?
gets over freezing.
I move into a corner where I can be a little less stared at, and then go over the fractal and stuff in my head.
Okay, so when you go into the fractal,
Well, I'm thinking it over.
well,
Not going straight into it. I don't
well,
know where it's
okay,
gonna take me.
you could. It's been left there by another Gadar for Gadars. That's
Yeah, but we're outsiders. I'm curious, and I've got time to kill because everyone's about to get fasted. So I go into the fractal.
okay. So when you do, it's first thing that happens is that reality kind of shifts away as what you're encountering. The architecture in this very different from what you're used to. The fractals are of I want to say like a higher quality. A lot more thought has been taken into it. There's a lot more information in this fractal than what you're expecting. In here, it's kind of like what you would expect to find in a Gadar break room, as in like there's a lot of open space. So there's a lot of like books, and a lot of this information is pre-crash. It's pre-fall. So there's like lots of information about cities. There's tourist information. There is, of course, policy manuals, information about the mines, corporate information, that sort of stuff. There's even information about simple training exercises that a Gadar can do to exercise their mind. And as you're reading that information, you realize that this is what you would call advanced techniques.
The cave nav charts from my memory bank, because I've got the hard copies in my robe, and I do vast memory on as much of the information as I can. Which
you can choose one topic.
Are there? I'm trying to think of what's useful and what I'm actually curious about, because I want to know if there are personnel files.
Yes, all these personnel files would be about 800 years old. So you might be able to find out, David Hammerhand's great grandmother.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll be
Jory?
useful, but I can't help it.
Something like that.
Interested.
Jory.
I suppose they don't live very long, right?
Oh, possibly even. Yes.
Jory. Is that Jory information?
Why do I care? Corporate training.
Did you get up to the episode where there was fractals?
No, I missed
Okay, so a fractal is how Gadar. It's just a symbol on a wall.
Yeah.
But it carries so much information that
It's like
a
a
Gadar.
download.
Yeah. So basically, her mind went into that construct as if it was a computer program.
Oh.
You need
Okay,
information
there you
on
go.
how to get
It's
to
like
whatever
going
we're
into
trying
the
to get
little
into.
things you scan with your phone to get into the movies.
QR code.
Yeah, it's like a super QR code.
I'll memorize the techniques, the training exercises.
Okay.
What about, like, the mines?
I know, I want all of it, but
She can only
there's
do
just
one.
so much. Like, I can't take the fractal with it, can I?
No. If
Because
you
the
go.
fractal's a storage.
Yeah, you can go peel it off a wall.
Can I re-enter the fractal at any point?
Yeah.
Haven't I memorized the fractal? Isn't that the same as memorizing the
Mm, not really. But you could go peel it off the wall.
Yeah.
Keep it.
It's odd that with all our technology we don't have a camera. Anyway, yeah, I'll memorize the training exercises for now, but when we go back out, I'll try and take
Okay.
the rest of the fractal or other safekeeping.
Okay, so there's a long amount of drinking, Warmedian style, which, yeah. I'm going to say that the Warmedian drinking style, or drinking, is very similar to our game night. So there's going to be some hangovers, the good stuff.
Did we slip some blue pills to anyone?
Look, starfish. Next morning, as you folks are recovering from your hangover, some of you wake up in the bar.
Wait, though.
I'd like
Recovering from hangover, wake up. Questions. I have questions.
Mhm.
Did I kill anybody?
No.
How many people am I waking up with?
Just two.
Slow night.
You've been listening to the Starfall Actual Play Podcast, written and directed by Kevin C. Mason. Subscribe to us on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever else you can find a podcast. Become a Patreon backer by going to patreon.com/StarfallPodcast. Get a copy of Roll vs. Roll at Gamescrafter or Drive-Thru RPG.